For all your t-shirt needs, check out TeePublic's Killer Selection. Follow the link in the description.
Let's do ladies first. Her scene may be one of the most remarkable scenes in horror history. It's considered by Bravo's Scariest Movie Moments to be one of the most scariest, as she sits there in the rocking chair in that attic window throughout the entire film. And that closing scene as they pull back from her there shows truly how terrifying that ordeal was. Let's welcome to the stage Miss Lynne Griffin. Come on up here, young lady. How are you? Choose whichever seat you would like. I would love you to sit right there. Thank you so much. All right. Yeah, that's it. Woo. All right. The next film, I see exactly what I was talking about. Let's hear it. You're amazing. I'll give you a hug. All right. That's right, I agree with that. The next film brings us to the 90s. It's one of the most unique takes because, the year before, there was another movie called Jack Frost with Michael Keaton. This took us in a completely different way. We welcome to the stage Jack Frost himself, Mr. Scott MacDonald. Bring him up. Welcome. How are you? Take a seat. All right. Now, the brothers are left. Who's been naughty? Yeah, I know, dude with the horns, I agree with you. Silent Night, Deadly Night is one of those films, and even the sequel, that really redefined what we thought of with Santa Claus, with the holidays and horror. Let's bring out the brother. Ricky, are you there? Let's welcome Eric Freeman to the program here. How are you? And finally, last but not least, let's just put it this way. He went through some fucked up shit. Silent Night, Deadly Night. Let's welcome to the stage Billy himself, Robert Brian Wilson. How are you? Good. So I'm going to jump down off of here because this is your stage, your platform. So first, I think the most appropriate thing would be is, how has Horrorhound Weekend been, and how has the response been to your roles in such cult films within the subgenre of holiday horror? Whoever would like to go first? You got that? Yeah. Well, you
want to go? First time?
Oh, urgent.
Okay,
Go ahead.
I'll go. I haven't done many of these. I've only done one other one in the United States because now I'm living back in Canada. So this has been awesome, everybody. You have been so complimentary. I mean, I kind of feel a little embarrassed to get so much flattery, especially for wearing a plastic bag on my head. But I'm really, really grateful for your incredible support for the horror films that I made many, many years ago. So thank you for coming out and supporting Black Christmas and Christmas and Strange Brew.
Nice. Good.
I feel very much the same. I haven't done a lot of horror festivals, and the re-release of the Blu-ray of Jack Frost has pretty much opened my eyes to the cult following that the movie had. I did a lot of Star Trek episodes, so I do some of those conventions in my career to date, and occasionally somebody would come up with this unique look in their eye, and I'd say, "Oh, you're a Jack Frost guy, aren't you?" And they always were. I'd put that lenticular cover up on that VHS and say, "It's the only VHS I still own because it does this." And I think, all right, man, but sign it, but don't sign it on the lenticular. I know. So I'm happy to be here. It's like I say, it's a unique experience 20 years later to have the re-release of the Blu-ray, put Jack Frost back out there, and I mean, I signed a full Jack Frost head today. I signed a poster, a huge poster. They've got that 9-foot high Jack Frost in the back for the photo op. It's the design of the original guy, so it's, you know, it's a lot of fun, and I appreciate the fandom.
I almost forgot the question. Well, thanks for showing up. First convention, and everybody's been very kind, and I didn't really know about any of this, that there was conventions. I'm kind of a late bloomer to it. Maybe 3 years ago I found out there was a following for my movie, and never saw Robert's movie, never saw it back in the day. It was impossible to see. So that's short and sweet. It's been a good experience, and I'm glad that I'm up here, and maybe we can answer some things today.
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll finish up. I just want to say thank you guys, all of you here. This is my 5th con and my 2nd Horrorhound. I'm very honored. You guys are great fans. Like Lynne said, the flattery is something very unexpected, not something that I get at home. Yeah, I'm just a dad at home, and they pay no attention to the film. But anyway, thank you guys very much. Once again, I'm honored, and we're all very pleased. You guys are great fans, great fans. As far as film fans go, I would have to say, and of course I don't have much experience in all the other genres, but you guys are as straightforward, you're just great people. I mean, I love when you come to the table and we get an opportunity to converse and get to know you a little bit, and share some with you about the film, and then learn a little bit about you. You guys are truly great people, and I really thank you for it.
Woo! Yeah, you know, there's no other genre in film that can have conventions like this, and I believe a very important man said to me right before we came on that this might be the only time we're able to get 4 figures in a genre like this together. And you know what? That's my next question for you. Holiday horror. I mean, it's ludicrous. It's really dark. It takes you to really depressing places. Robert, I'm sure you understand that, you know. But holiday horror, I mean, as actors in it, what does holiday horror mean to you? What does it mean? Whoever would like to answer that.
Well, I can go first again. I mean,
By
I
all
think
means.
it's really amazing that people tell me that every Christmas, which is the time where you're with your family and you're bringing tidings of joy and love, that they watch Black Christmas.
Yes, they do.
And that someone or all of us sorority girls dying in such horrible ways. I never go to the dry cleaners anymore. Actually, somehow invokes the Christmas spirit in all of you, which is why I like you, because, you know, you're weird, like and you're devoted. That's one thing about horror fans I really love. Like, think of other people for a second. Like, there's people who love horses. Yeah. There's people like me who love shoes.
Nice.
People that love, I don't know what, even their husbands or wives or stuff. But the devotion of horror fans to horror films, and particularly like the horror holiday films, is unbelievable. You guys are so lucky to actually be that, to love something that much and be that devoted to it, that you make yourselves available to come to all these conventions, and you want to meet all the fans, and you want to support our film so much. Thank you.
Yeah.
If I may, I'll echo again once again what Lynne's saying. I'm blown away by the fact that so many people that come up and say hello and want a picture or something, that you guys watch this film religiously before Christmas. You know, it just blows me away. But I think it's great. And again, like Lynne was saying, it does in some way, shape, or form, and I'm not sure how it all works. It does evoke the Christmas spirit. And maybe it's because we're all just scared, kind of shitless, and going, better be kind of thankful for what's going on around here. I really don't know.
Your Christmas couldn't be worse.
Right? Oh, there you go. I just tapped into it. Yes. Anyone else?
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the same sentiment. I was just watching a college football game with a bunch of alums, and we were all together, and I was sitting next to this really nice young guy who went to the same college I did, but way after me. And we're watching our team, and our team wins the game. And at the end, I said, "Hey, man, you're a great guy. It's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Scott MacDonald." And the guy goes, "Scott MacDonald, not Jack Frost, Scott MacDonald." And my buddy behind me bumps me like, "You better tell him you are," you know. And I said, "Yeah, Jack Frost, Scott MacDonald." "Dude, every Christmas since I was 10. And he's off, you know. And so they're everywhere, you know. Even at the sporting event, I thought, "Oh, here's one of them," you know. So I think it's fantastic and fun, and you know, I killed a woman with her own Christmas tree in Jack Frost.
One of many.
You know, wrapped the cord around her, put the star in her head, wrote ornaments in her mouth, you know, talking to her the whole time we did it. And that's the holidays.
You know what? I think the next place to go before we start taking questions from the crowd. So if you have questions, please raise your hand. The unique kills. Holiday films have some of the most unique kills. I mean, Lynne, as I had said before, the bag over the head, sitting there in the rocking chair, and I don't know how many people know this, but each take was about 60 seconds that you were there with the bag on your head before they called cut. I believe that's what I had read and I had heard, which is insane to even think about. You look at you, Scott, with the aspect of Shannon Elizabeth with that snowman and the death in the shower, you know, and then both of you, an axe. I mean, you can come up with so many different ways. I mean, the opening scene for Silent Night, Deadly Night is just enough for how extreme and how out there it is with Santa Claus. The kind of kills you see in these kind of films, being people who have been a part of it, victims and predators here, can you talk about what they mean to the genre and what it's like to be part of them? Go ahead, Scott. You're laughing a lot.
Well, Jack killed a lot of them. The Christmas tree kill was my favorite one in the movie because she's this, you know, ditzy I love Christmas lady, and then he kills her with her own tree, you know. But I mean, when I read it, I was laughing, you know. The kid gets his head cut off by a sled. I ram an axe down a guy's throat. I don't use the axe on him, I put the axe down his throat rather than chopping with it. And so Jack, you know, goes into some detail that a lot of guys wouldn't go into, you know. So, yeah, I mean, it's so over the top and campy in our movie, you know, and fun that, you know, when we were doing it, you know, you kind of had to be conscientious of not kind of getting giggly, you know, while you're shooting them, because there is that element of it when you're doing it too that's sort of sneaky fun, you know.
Absolutely.
And but you're supposed to be in character, you know, and then you're kind of feeling like, yeah, but I'm wrapping her up with Christmas lights and putting Christmas ornaments in her mouth, you know, and, you know, come up with something to say right there, you know. Michael Cooney'd say, you know, say something. It's quiet. Say something, you know. So all of those ad-lib lines of, you know, world's most pissed off snow cone and all of that stuff, you know, we were just making it up on the fly and laughing our asses off when we did it. So I'm always relieved that when you get with people who get it, they did the first full screening of it ever in LA last year. They found the 35mm copy of it and played it at the Egyptian Theater.
Wow.
And I thought, you know, I don't know how many people will come. We'll get 50 people or something, you know. And there were 300 like-minded Jack Frost fans there. And it was uproarious laughter from the very first government execution vehicle, you know, the first right-on-the-nose joke in the movie. And from there on in, and it was just so fun. My sons had never seen it. They were sitting next to me, 23 and 21, you know, sitting in the house, but like he was saying, you know, you're just dad. You know,
right.
I'm not gonna watch dad's movies, you know, I'm gonna watch other people's movies, you know. So they saw it for the first time with 300 people, and I had never seen it with a group of people ever before, because it was straight to video, you know, so you've always watched it with 4 or 5 people. So here, watching Jack Frost with a group of people was raucous and awesome. I mean, I didn't expect it to be. I went there kind of thinking, here goes nothing, you know, and it was the most fun I've had in a movie theater in a really long time, just because of the fact that, you know, people just got it. They were all on that Jack Frost vibe of, let's have some crazy, zany, stupid fun right here, and everybody did. It was really a gas. So again, you know, thanks to the fans, you know.
Real quick before anyone else answers up on the stage, that's one thing with holiday horror. It's got such a different energy because of any subgenre, you can connect most with the holiday horror. If we took an honest show of hands in here, how many of you sometimes have that dread going to see your relatives, your in-laws? Come on, raise those hands. You know, you have the, you live vicariously through what you're doing, and seeing that kind of crowd makes absolute sense. Who else would like to answer that about the kills?
What was the question?
The aspect of all the crazy kills, Lynn?
You mean mine was?
Well, your head's over there, so, you know.
I got,
I didn't realize. I don't even need to be here. She could do the talk. Maybe she can.
Maybe.
Yeah, I as we had discussed before, I said I think the reason that I got hired was because I told them that I was a good swimmer, so I could hold my breath. And also in my early days, and even to the present day, I generally play victims a lot. Like
right.
I'm the one who either kills themselves or gets killed or something horrible happens to me. Except for one, you know, I have one movie where I get to live to the end, which is nice. But making Black Pumas was such a delight because Bob was actually the one in the attic with me all the time, as well as the DOP and Claude, the cat. But Bob was actually the one, he was sitting there and he was the one who had his foot on the rocker, so he was rocking the rocking chair. And he was the one who was hurling the cat at me. Of course, the cat, the designer cat who didn't want to be hurled. And they wanted him to kind of come up and lick my face and stuff. Of course, he wouldn't do that, so they sprayed my face with catnip.
In the inside or outside the bag?
Outside.
Okay.
Yeah. However, like at first they discovered that just by putting the bag over your head, you get sort of condensation inside, and you could see it moving slightly. So they poked like a pencil up my nostrils so that I could breathe under it. Oh my God. And then Bob would kind of say, okay, everybody, I think we got the shot. Everybody break for lunch. Lynn, you have to stay there because we need to get some more shots of you.
Nice. Anyone else?
Yeah, I can talk about it a little bit. In Silent Night, Deadly Night, I've been asked on a couple of occasions, you know, what is my favorite part of the film, and it can't be just one moment. It truly is all the kills. And I know people are like, that's messed up, but there's
Just a little.
just a little. I mean, but it's okay with this crowd. No, there's something about it when you get set up, when you're setting up shots for a kill, whether it's, you know, myself, the actor, or even the crew. There's an energy that kind of kicks off on the set. It's one of those things you can't help yourself. You get caught up in. And so that was a thrilling part of the film. And the other thing about it is that you know, the fact that you guys are experts at horror film, that you guys all get it. And I think that if you were just showing this to like my mother-in-law or something, she'd really be puzzled by all of it. But you guys get it, and that's again why I appreciate you guys so much. I like Scott. We did a 30-year anniversary at the Egyptian in Hollywood. And I brought my wife, and we were blown away by it. Again, from the first moment, it's like I was tense because I didn't know what to expect. It'd been 30 years since we made the film, and there was a lot of stuff, as you guys know, that had come up right when the film came out, and then as time went on. So I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know if I was going to walk in there and have people holding signs saying, "This is not right." I don't know. I didn't know. So you guys were all so welcoming, and it made my experience, and also for my wife, who hadn't seen the film in a theater, it was just fantastic. So once again, my thanks to the horror fans.
All right.
I will say
Yeah.
one other thing that kind of links up to what Robert was talking about, is that when you're making these films, some of the hardest thing for me was keeping like a straight face, like not corpsing. But because it's so funny to be doing what you're doing, and everybody's looking at you, and you're kind of and you're just trying and not crack up. And I find it very funny to do this, and I find it hard to keep a straight face when I'm dying.
Anything else? All right. We got some questions from the audience. Go ahead.
I just want to say thank you for Black Christmas, Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2, because I was one of the cool kids, because I scored a copy of all 3 movies. We sat there and we watched them, and I don't think we slept for 3 days. So thank you. Jack Frost, dude, I don't know what I have to say about you, Scott, but the Shannon Elizabeth, that got everybody, all the cool kids in junior high. See, I was out of school at the time, but I showed them to kids, so sorry if that makes me bad, but hey, just gotta say it was great. Thank you, guys.
You know what, Scott, let me ask you a question. You're a different generation of holiday horror than the other films. And I had just, before you guys came in, I brought up about the last few years where there's a new generation of holiday horror that's coming out within the next year or so. But how does it feel to be part of a different generation with Jack Frost and have a different audience?
Well, that was the surprise was, like when I met that guy who had gone to Washington State University, he said my roommates and I watched that movie religiously. I bet I saw it 50 to 100 times, he said, when I was in school. He said, and every year since then at the holidays we get together and we try to watch it. And when I was at Washington State, we were watching these movies.
Right.
So to be invited here and be a part of this, is still a surprise to me. Like I said, when that guy when he went all crazy about Jack Frost, it still surprises me because, like I said, my son's it's sitting on the shelf in the DVDs, and my sons never took it out and said, "What's Dad's movie?" and watched it. So, but their experience, first time ever, was awesome because they saw it with everybody in a movie theater, which I had never done. Because it really was truly, they almost did it almost as in order to make the movie unique. They said, "Oh, no theatrical release, we're going to go straight to video," and it was kind of planned to get this PR and this attention. But people came to do the panel and stuff, and there was a guy talking about they used to switch the Jack Frost with Michael Keaton in a video store he worked in, just to get the reaction out of the people and come back and be like, "This is an outrageous movie," because they wanted to watch this loving family film about a dad who lost it, and they got a guy who slaughtered a town, and so it's that sort of headspace and that vibe is the thing that I love. That like I said, at the Star Trek conventions, I could see the Jack Frost people coming. They'd have this look in their eye and they'd have it behind their back. And I think, I know what you want me to sign. Give it to me. But it's a unique thing, and like I say, it still feels. 20 years ago, I think it was 97.
Right. Yeah, it's exactly 20 years.
And so. It's amazing. It's amazing to me that I'm sitting here. It really is, truly. As an actor who's, my body of work didn't fall into horror somehow.
Right.
I don't know what happened, but somehow they said, "Oh, sci-fi." I always joke that Paramount Studios said, "Yeah, you can hire MacDonald, but for God's sake, put a mask on him."
Right. Question from the audience.
I just have a quick question. All your movies are iconic, so my question is, when you first got your scripts for these movies, did you realize just what an impact these movies would have at the time, or did you just think no one's going to see it, or things like that? Because like I said, I think all your movies are legendary, so just curious.
No. Absolutely not. No clue that 20 years later people would still like the movie. None whatsoever when we were making it.
Or 40 years later.
Yeah, 34 years
So
later.
I was going to say, the numbers vary, but
I win.
Eric, if I may follow up on the no, when you for a sequel to a film like Silent Night, Deadly Night, knowing that it already had an audience, still it was a no that it was going to be as received.
Well, I can only speak for myself.
Yeah.
Hadn't seen it. Lee Harry and Joe Earl wrote the part 2. I mean, everybody knows the story, but it was the owner of the film wanted it to be re-edited because he got slaughtered when he put it out there the first time. So Lee, Harry, and Joe said, "Well, wait, we can add to this," and then $100,000 later, and 5 days of shooting, it was what it was. But personally, I didn't know what Robert did. Had never seen it. I assumed that they wanted something on a comedic flair because they were laughing the whole time, acting out the scenes they wanted.
Right.
So, the big no on that was none of us here. I know I can say that blanket that knew what was going to be or anything. It was an acting gig. I had no money. I hand them out. It was it was it, and nobody would go any further as an actor, thinking anything in the future. What will happen to it? Will I be able to get any footage off this?
Right.
That's all I cared about.
Exactly.
That's it.
It's interesting because a lot of actors that come into horror are not coming in because they're fans. They're coming in because it's a paycheck. A lot of times they're coming in because it's to add on to their body of work. Maybe it's a creative aspect if they're a fan, but very few are like that I've talked to over the time. We have another question. Go ahead, right here.
Who would win, Jack Frost or Billy?
Wow, Jack Frost or Billy?
Just based on what I'm hearing here, I think Jack Frost would take it.
Nice.
I agree.
Excuse me. We got another question. We got a handful of questions. You have a question, we'll get as many as we can in. So raise your hand. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just curious, like, whenever I saw the version I had of Silent Night, Deadly Night, DVD extras, total, like, subsection that just shows you all the critiques from the newspapers, all the critics being all like, it's killing Christmas, it's destroying families, all the sanctity of the holidays is gone, this is awful. And I always, like, look at that stuff and I was like, do they anticipate this? Like, do they anticipate society kind of like looking at it and being all like, this is really, gonna shock people, it's gonna rattle people, but this is for the horror fans? Or is this something that, like, whenever it happens, you're just kind of like, wasn't going for that, but, kind of glad it happened. What are your thoughts on that?
I think based on what I've heard, speaking with the producers and just hearing, their conversations about how it all started, they thought they had a fantastic idea. That this is kind of new. It's horror, and all this horror stuff's really working, and they wanted a vehicle to make some money, and they thought this was just a fantastic idea. They had no idea that week one that every mother, that it was just wrong. That's why within a couple of weeks it was pulled. TriStar pulled, and of course you guys know the history on it. But no, they thought they had a great gig, and it was going to make them a bucket load of money, and they had no idea of the backlash that was coming. But here we are.
Question. Who had the question? Young man? There you go. Go ahead.
Yeah, question about a Christmas movie another time for Robert and Eric. Husband for Christmas. How did that happen, and how did you both get in it?
Interesting. I'll start that up. Well, I met this gentleman, David Dakota. Perhaps you horror fans.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, David. He's directed, produced over 100 films. He's getting near 150 now. But that 30-year anniversary that I was talking about that we enjoyed at the Egyptian in Hollywood, David came up to me while I was there. We were doing some autographs there at the close, signed the LP. and he asked if he had something for me in the future, if I would be interested. And right away, I wrote my number down on a piece of paper and gave it to him. And then he found that Eric had worked with David in the past, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
And he thought that it would be a great idea.
Sure. Tell the story.
He thought it would be a great idea to get the two of us together and shoot that scene. And we went along with it. It was a lot of fun. It was real quick. Just a moment, just a glimpse. But it was a fun film. It's always nice working with David. This guy, he shoots film as fast as anyone I've ever seen. He does not mess around.
Pumps them out.
He knows his shots, and he does not mess around. So it was a pleasure working in that way. And of course, working with Vivica Fox, that can never be bad. It was fun.
Only to add to that, David didn't tell me I was meeting Robert, or Robert would even be there. I think Robert may have known. I'm sure, but I was talking to Robert because we had the scene together. I didn't know him from Adam. And I'm talking for hours and hours. We're getting along famously, nothing about the business. We became fast friends. And then the question earlier was something about what does holiday horror mean to you? And the reason I bring that up is because it was on that Husband for Christmas, which I got edited out, thank God. Because I like David, but this thing wasn't built for me at all, that scene. The point is one of the David's producer walks behind, and Robert and I are getting along, and he says, "Hey, are you guys the Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and 2?" And I said, "I guess we are." And it was a big shock. And then he says, "Well, what is it about the Christmas that makes me want to see people get killed?" That was that holiday horror thing. So it was kind of funny to tie that in. But
It
was a fun moment.
You know what? As we're coming up on, this is probably my last one for me. Can you talk about what the Christmas carols and the music meant to the film? Because several of you have themes that are concocted just for your characters, but also in Black Christmas, the scene where we're pulling away from you up in that window in Silent Night. I mean, it's terrifying. Talk about the music and how much it impacts your characters and the film. Whoever would like to.
Yeah, was it really Silent Night?
I believe so.
I sing that all the time to my cat. I didn't realize that. Okay, you learn later, but you don't know when you're doing it what Christmas carols they're going to use. I remember all the kids that come to the door and sing, those little sweethearts, in the freezing cold. Everything that was shot in Black Christmas that year, it was sub-zero temperature.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was glad to be up in the attic. But yeah, I think music is integral to all films, not just horror films or not just Christmas carols. But I would say, I'm really pleased that you told me now that I remember that it was Silent Night, because now it'll have more meaning when I sing it to my cat.
It changes the complexion of what we think about with the Christmas carols and how it's seen with these visuals. I mean, you look at Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, the Christmas carols used in there, a lot to it. Did anyone else want to answer before we move on?
Well, when we were doing the voiceovers we were having a great time in there when the movie was completed, and then we went back and found, we had Jack add lines, found places where it's too quiet right in here, so let's have Jack say something as he flies through the air, things like that where we were finding moments. And Michael would throw something out, and I'd throw stuff out. So a lot of that stuff that, World's Most Pissed Off Snow Cone, all of those lines that, people throw back at me when they see me at these shows, were a lot of them we came up with just on the fly while I was watching the movie and looking at the suit.
Right.
And sometimes he didn't like the line that we had maybe said on the set. So, Jack's big head is doing this thing, so we would try to find some pentameter or something that would fit it. But the song, right at the very end, we were all done. We thought we were going to wrap it up, and Michael said, "Can you sing?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "But can you sing as Jack Frost?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Because we got this idea, and at the very end, down under the ground, the little antifreeze bottle starts to gurgle,
Right.
and Jack starts to sing."
The one of many.
And they were really happy because I just kind of dove right in and thought, all right, let's shred this holiday song, So they were pretty happy about that, and then I think they had some carols that they couldn't afford,
Right. They're all like,
so we had to
yes.
find ones that were whatever they call that, when it's common market where you can use them, and so I sang several versions of several things, but I thought, no, there's no way you're going to get this one, because we didn't have that kind of money, so the one that got in there was fun.
Nice. Anyone else? Go ahead.
I'd like to say, yeah, Silent Night, Deadly Night, the music in that, to me, it really makes the film. It suggests so much that it really adds a chill to the room when the music comes on. And I can remember just when I was tracking down one of the co-workers in the store, and I had the bow and arrow. And I was walking through the store, and I was saying, all through the house, not
Right.
these things, they add so much to the film. Like Lynne was saying, it's integral to the film, the music, and I thought they did a fantastic job in Silent Night, Deadly Night.
All right. Go ahead, young lady.
Hi. Okay, so I have a big sister, and I remember our parents were out, and with friends, and there was a boy, really cute, and we were all staying together, all of us kids, and my sister had run in Silent Night, Deadly Night, and I thought, that's probably scary. I have nightmares, but I'm not going to say that in front of this cute boy who wants to watch it. And we watched it, and I just remember that feeling of like, Santa Claus is bad? Like, can you do that? And it was so powerful. And so the way that's leading into my question is that a lot of what makes horror successful is is breaking taboos. So what taboos do you think your films broke that made them so powerful with the audience?
Wow, that's very good.
That is an excellent question.
God, you think we're smart?
Well, like the holiday music. Everybody associates music with the holidays. Nat King Cole, and you know what I mean. And so flipping those songs, like it is, you're just shattering. These are holiday traditions. It's growing up for us when I was a kid, it was Tony Bennett and Frank Sinatra and Nat King Cole, and Nat King Cole singing to the Christmas kids. The little boy that Santa Claus forgot. And, stuff like that. And then you turn it on its head with these things, and that's exactly right. The taboos. The Christmas tree kill. That's just this poor woman loves Christmas and she pays for it. That's it's built for that. You just think, oh, it's all good, it's all Santa, it's all not naughty, it's nice, and you don't get presents, but oh, here comes naughty. And here comes naughty in a big way. So I think that's really well put and a great question, because Christmas is just built to be ripped apart by something like horror when you really think about it.
You know what I'm just thinking too? In most horror films, am I right or am I wrong to say it's usually the bad girl that gets it first? But in Black Christmas, like Claire is the quintessential virgin, right? But she's the first one to get it. That's breaking a taboo right there.
Very much.
Isn't it? My God, I don't think, Claire, even for me, that was my first screen kiss. So for poor Claire, she's the one who's literally, coming straight off of Bible class. And she comes up to pack to go home to her family would be lovely, like, wonderful family Christmas. And it happens to her first. And like Margot, who's the Margot Kidder, who plays such an incredible character in that film. Because I always remember the phone number that she gives to the cop. If you haven't seen the film, I'm not going to spoil it.
Full issue, what? I'm sorry.
But even that, I mean, even just the fact that, whatever the movie was, 1984, that we were talking about things like that in the film, as well as the whole scene with Olivia and Pierre Delay, where she brings up the fact that she's going to have an abortion. We were talking about like the early 80s, so these were really breaking taboos to have these things in a film that was essentially, a fairly straightforward horror film, but you're actually dealing with really like important moral issues as well. Pretty amazing. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah. All right. We're down to our last question here, and I want to thank everyone for coming out for it. Head over to the tables afterwards. Come see these amazing performers. And Lynne, by the way, I never saw a gift wrapping the same again after I went to buy Christmas. So here's the last question. Go ahead, take it away.
Hi. Public speaking is my favorite, so forgive me. But this question's for Eric, actually. I am also a fan of the first Silent Night, Deadly Night. But Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 is actually one of my favorite movies to introduce to like my friends and stuff, because it's just so over the top, off the wall, and honestly kind of hilarious, whether intentionally or otherwise. And even though I understand that you're not able to do it, I consider my life incomplete without you getting live video of you saying garbage tape, which is fine. I'm not asking for it. What I am going to ask, I'm kind of curious, as far as your performance goes, how much of that was left to improv, or how much of it was the filmmakers? Where did your performance in the movie come from?
Hell. Honestly, the path was simple. It was to me. I was told, let me back up. I auditioned. I come back in. They said, we like what you're doing, but you're too subdued. And I thought that was fascinating. Because it ended up the way it ended up. Because they just wanted it to be funny, and there was always a lot of encouragement from the sidelines to bring it up, more. This is where he's crazier. So that's where that came from, and God, I don't know where it came from, but it was autopilot at some point. More, and more. So it ended up as it ended up, and I look back at that, and I did a number of things as we all did, and I had forgotten about it because it was forgotten about, and it comes back in like a tidal wave. But I can't see where it came from other than could I say, well, he was green. This guy's the worst actor, whatever. I came in. I had done things prior. I know what I could do, and it vaulted itself to some level of insanity. So we can laugh at it now. I do, and but not much more to say on it. It ended up being what it was and is, and 6.5 million hits for Garbage Day. It's something.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Holiday Horror. Come visit at the tables. Stay here. We've got more panels for Horrorhound Weekend. Thank you, everybody, very much.
Join the $1 a Month Club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Turi Delamore, Farron Sutton, and Jeremiah Lambert. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.